All right, I think we're live. I don't know if it's live, so if anyone joins in, please comment down below, because for some reason it popped up and it said gonna go live at 1 a.m. or midnight. So I don't know. I don't know if it's recording live and gonna upload later, but we're gonna do live on the drive. I haven't been live in a while. I'm heading back to Kokomo, my hometown, from some repair work I just did. GPS says at least 35 minutes to get back to Kokomo area, so I don't know. We'll go live for a little bit, answer some questions, have a little casual conversation, kind of a topic that I just thought of while I was up on the roof today. I have a lot of people be like, oh no, sales is where it's at, sales is where it's at, sales is where it's at. Don't get into roofing. I've had people say, you screwed up, you got into repair work, or an employee in the position, you really effed up because you got into sales. I beg to differ. So we're just gonna kind of talk about the topic on the drive, live on the drive. Should you be a roofing contractor, a roofing salesman, a project foreman, an employee for an install, own company? I don't know. I guess there's good and there's bad to it all. It really depends on what you want to do and what your desires are, your end goal, really. So comment below. I don't know if they're going to pop up and stay up on the screen. It looks like we have some people joining in right now, just a few of you. So we're going to recap real quick. Live on the drive heading home, we're going to talk about what kind of roofing should you get into? What part of roofing should you get into? If you are in any kind of industry with roofing, comment below, let me know. I will try to pop this up too real quick on my laptop, because on the phone, on the app, when I'm live, they disappear after a couple seconds. Let me try to bring this up. I got Starlink up and running, so while I'm getting out on this, I don't need to have my hotspot and overheat. You know, overheating right now. It's actually, today's been a really decent day, temperature wise. It's been nasty. Looks like a few of you thumbs up, comments coming in, so it does look like it's going out. So right at the very beginning of this, I don't know, it said that it may upload at 1 a.m. or midnight. So I don't know. It looks like we're getting out. Bear with me just for a quick minute so I can get the chat brought up here. So if you are in the chat, you are in the roofing business and the industry, whether you're a salesman, contractor, business owner, foreman, whatever, comment below, let me know, and I will pick back up here in just a quick second. I'm in the slow lane, like really slow. So today, what I had been out doing here for watching later, it's, what is today, December 19th, 2025? December 18th, 19th, whatever. It's Thursday. Do the math if you're watching it later. Sorry, I'm driving. Why is it not showing me on screen here? All right, let me just glance at this, see if I can see anything real quick here. Love all you do. I can't read it all. I mean, driving's my primary objective here. So I know there's a lot of people. You text and drive? No, I hit boop, one button. No different than my volume button, cruise control, doesn't matter. And then I speak, I dictate. So that's what I'm doing now. Reading the comments, I will glance at what I can. For those that think it's very unsafe, let me just kind of let you know, 30 years ago, I started flying airplanes. And I went through flight school in the late 90s, early 2000s. Aviate, navigate, communicate. So even though I am driving and you think that I'm like reading chat, I'm not. I'll glance at it, but flying is number one. I'm flying an airplane, gotta look down at charts, look at maps, do stuff. You aviate first, then you navigate, then you communicate. So I just want to speak that real quick. So again, back to the topic here. It really depends on what you want to do. Is anyone out there in roofing sales? Let's just say if you're roofing sales, say I'm in sales. If you're a crew leader, say you're a crew leader. If you're owner, say owner. I know some roofers are very busy here in New Hampshire. Just had it pass. There's some places reaching 142 miles per hour. So is that some of the storms you're getting right now? I can't read this fully, but today we are supposed to, right off to my west, we're supposed to get some strong winds. My wife was telling me last night, she read whatever weather source she was saying, they were saying 60-mile-an-hour winds coming through today. So expect some wind damage, straight line winds, damaging winds, missing leaks, whatever. Busy phone call for a couple days before Christmas. But yeah, today's been repair day, getting caught up on stuff. It's not been the nicest weather, but I figured I'd make the best of it and shoot some GoPro repair video, cell phone repair video, some content. So I posted a short. I'm gonna try to edit a few because the GoPro, I gotta edit them all together and then upload it. And I did do a 2-view camera today, so I had the phone on a gimbal filming me and then a GoPro on, so I might edit that out. I don't know. But it made me think about some various things. There's some comments I've read lately where people talk about, thank you for sharing your 5-part series on flashing a chimney. I learned how to do it with confidence and did it to where I earned some money, bought a box fan, now I can get out there and reach more people. I don't care where you are in life. And I hate when people may be up here and they look down to people down here. You know, I was one of those people once. I started with nothing. I'm not saying I'm where I want to be, and I'm never saying I'm better than others, but I am here to share what I know. So wherever you are in life financially, if you want to get into a business, something you want to get into, let's just use roofing because that's what I know. Learn and get out there and start. Be honest, do good quality work. If you screw something up, go back and fix it. Always have enough set aside, asset-wise, cash, capital, to repair your F-ups, you know? But where people say, oh, you need to get in sales. It's hard to, I mean, you can get into sales and sell the thing when you don't know the thing. I get that. But when you know pretty good, well-rounded balance of everything, let's just use this. This is what made me think of it. So salesmen get to the point where there's no storms. There's no hail. Slow. People have been reaching out to me for sales positions. I don't run that kind of business here. But what happens when that doesn't happen and they can't sell work? Their income quits. Then they're out trying to look. They're in the hustle again. If you are out there doing something, anything, even if it's not the greatest pay, you get out there, you build a brand and a reputation. Like today, what I did, I was earning money doing what I do, sharing what I know, video form for people out there to learn. It gives benefit and value to them. And then I do make a little bit on the side for that. And my goal this year through the winter in 2026 is to bring more content in all different areas: repair, inspection, business, behind the scenes, product reviews, giveaways of things I get for free, all kind of stuff like that. But you can do this and make some good money. And if you are the owner of it and you're grinding it out, bootstrapping it, doing it, earning money, you start selling jobs. I mean, I make a pretty good living. I'm not to where I'm just selling a ton and bragging about it. It's what I hate when people are like, oh, I sold $5 million last week. Great, good for you. I know what I do per year, and I have a great family life. I'm around a lot, and I make enough to pay my debts off, have a nice chunk for emergency and a runway, and start investing now. So I guess it just made me think about that, and I feel like I'm just carrying on a one-man conversation here. But I'm driving, so please bear with me. I'll try to glance here and there. I really wish I could read these back later. Let me type this in now. I'm just kind of on a narrow road and some rain here. Grand roofing. Let me pop me up, see if I can see some comments out here. Turn this volume down. Okay, yeah, it is vertical live on the laptop here. So what's your guys' experience if you're in the roofing? What have you done? How did you start? Do you like it? What would you change and do differently? Give me some comments below so the people reading, watching can read them. Where are we at? Like 8 minutes into it? Oh, I got a spare battery, GoPro battery in my pocket here. I'm out of water, I'm out of drinks, I'm like parched, I'm thirsty. I need to charge these. I've actually got a new pack of batteries coming that I can charge because they don't hold a charge like they used to. They're a few years old. For those that follow the channel, if you're in roofing, I am going to IRE this year. I've got my airfare tickets. I need to get my IRE ticket. I'll be there all 3 days. So if you're there, look for me to give me a shout out. I plan on attending a couple of the conferences, maybe the new welcome thing, whatever. It's probably going to be stupid, but whatever. I've known about it for 2.5 decades. So this will be my first time going. There's a guy up in Canada that was commenting back and forth with me on another video I released yesterday about my GAF stuff. So I'm going to look for him, hopefully meet that guy. Sorry, I can't remember your name. And kind of pick your brain on your experience with GAF that you've been doing for a while and see what your reps or your people in your district say. I'll be honest, I don't have any desire to file the claim at this point. I'm just going to replace it. Short, small, and keep it all, or move depending upon job size. So I'll get into a couple of numbers real quick. Now, some of you may be like, wow, that's way off, but there's different motives here for me. So if you're a big company and you got salesman, receptionist, project foreman, subcontract, all that, you can't do repair work for probably what I or for what other people out there would do. So for example, there was a small section of shingles. Typically, people are like, well, I mean, myself, if I'm gonna be broke, I'm gonna be broke at home with my family, right? So things are changing. There's different ways I set pricing. How dangerous the job is. Where is the job? Is it on a main corridor? So branding and signs might play a role in a factor. Is it somebody I know? Is it somebody with power and influence that has a big reach, like a political person, a realtor, various different things that can play a role in this? In this case, we're slow. I'm not doing installs. I've got work sold, but we're going to wait till spring because I'm not going to do it if I would do it on my house in the winter. So I'm going to do more repair work and share what I know here for you guys. So in that case, this repair, I told this homeowner $500. I would normally be able to do this in and out within 30 minutes or so. It was two and a half stories up on an 812 dormer and a 1012 pitch house. Some people are like, I ain't touching that for like $2,000, $3,000. Some of the repairs I hear from homeowners saying it's ridiculous, but there's some motivation to be able to get content and a homeowner willing to allow me to air this stuff on YouTube to share what I know. And then that does kind of offset a little bit because some of these videos do well. Some of the videos that have got crazy retention time and view time, it's not about views, it's about retention on the platform, and I do make a little bit of money on AdSense. I'm not making a killing. My money comes in from Grand Roofing and the brand I built, but I do make anywhere from like $2,000 to $3,000 a month on YouTube, just being transparent. But that is kind of a job in itself. You've got to have the equipment to do it. You've got to do it and not be afraid of getting picked apart in the comment section. I mean, I've had everything from death threats to comments, I don't know what I'm doing, and all kinds of crazy stuff out there. You got to edit it, you got to upload it, you try to maintain and carry on the relationship in the comment section, things like that. So it does require a little bit. Even if I didn't get paid, my goal when I started doing YouTube channel was to share what I know because it was plagued with bad actors and people all about the money and really didn't really know what they were doing. And then I kind of also did it to keep my mind off my mom battling cancer. So that's why I'm doing it and want to keep doing it. I do want to grow the size and the financial side of it so I don't have to sell the work, that I can actually do more work and do work for free and bring more content for people. So my motivation, the channel is kind of shifting to bring more content. I still want to do the roofing, but so here I feel like I'm babbling again. I watched your latest video on a repair. I wanted to send you a pic later. Maybe I'll email. So check the about page or the whatever. There's a page on my channel that you can see 2 emails. I don't check them as often because it's blown up by bots and spammers and stupid emails. So I'll skim through it. Every now and then I'll check it every few days. Sometimes it might be a week or 2. So if I don't reply, I apologize. Again, it's not my income source. So send me an email. Put something in the comments, the subject section that says repair video or something, because a lot of it's bogus and I just delete it. So give me something that's going to catch my attention and make me think, okay, this is a person that really needs help, and I will do my best to see it, reply. Also comment in any of my videos what you want to see, what kind of content you would like to see. By far, the very few worst roof ever videos have done great, but you don't learn a lot from it. The repair videos, the unedited, those are hardest for me to do. Those have done the best in sense of helping people, DIYers, contractors learning, and also revenue income for the channel too. So that's why I'm trying to double down on that this year. Hello, if you're saying hi, I do appreciate it. Oh, I need water. Can't see how many people are there, like 13 maybe, not many. Just very impromptu, we're live on the drive. Kind of back to the topic of doing what I'm doing. I would not want to be in the position of being a salesman, made a ton of money, spent a lot of my money, lived over my, not within my means. So if you earn 100 grand a year and you spend 120 grand a year, that's not a good thing. I don't care what you make. To put into perspective, when I was an employee running the crews, the job sites, I wasn't the owner, I was kind of the right-hand man, the grunt, the bitch, I think, now keep in mind, this is pre-COVID, so inflation's been crazy. I had I think it was like 30, 40,000, crazy overtime, 45,000. So not much, you know. I was killing myself. I had no skin left, blisters, cuts, cracks, back aches. I just hated life. And when you have an employer that didn't really care about you, it just made it very miserable. So that's where, when I left in 2017, enough was enough. I started this. It was a bit of a grind, I'm not gonna lie. Had a little one on the way, my wife and everything, still have mortgages and all that. And duked it out for a while. Now the income is in multiple six-figure, just from roofing. It's pretty seasonal. I still run the business through the winter. I have other streams of income and things. But if you're in a dark place right now, just set a goal, work towards. I don't care what it is. Anything you know. It doesn't have to be roofing. It could be HVAC, electrical, roofing, plumbing. I don't care. Lawn care, plowing, snow. It doesn't matter. Try to earn something and then spend less than you earn. So if you bring in $3,000 a month, try to live on $3,000 or less, preferably less, and then put some aside for a runway. When you get that runway built financially, you know that if times are tough, an emergency happens, you can't work, weather's an issue if it's a seasonal thing, you can live and not run negative deficits. You can pull from that runway. If you don't have any of that, a good goal is 3 to 6 months to start. I can say I've got years now. I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm to the point now where it feels good. The weight is off your shoulders. You can actually say, okay, now what do I want to do? I'm trying to work on some software, and I've got the time, the resources, financial ability to kind of do some of that now. So whatever it is you want to do, you can do it too. It kind of feels good to read these comments when people say they've been able to change their life. I've had people say they were school teachers that got into sales and make a great living. Some of them are doing construction, the work themselves and making a good living. So there's no right or wrong way. It's whatever you want to do. You can even be an employee and just love life. Now it's closer to 7-8 square. I'm not sure what you mean by there. Maybe you're talking like price per square. Our market dipped. So this spring, this summer, in my area, everybody's like, oh, you don't know. I feel like everybody says you don't know what my market's like. Now it's different if you're retail versus storm restoration insurance work. And some of the storm restoration guys, they say if it's not insurance, they charge even more. So it's kind of weird. Really, markets can change. But I found some of the mom and pop, well-known places in my area were selling work anywhere from $400 to $450 a square, depending upon the job. I'm typically, when I refer to a price per square, it's a standard walkable ranch, 412 pitch, 1 layer. You know, if it changes from there, multiple layers, multiple pitch, multiple stories, it goes up. But that's kind of where I was. I was selling it at $440, decent. You come south a little bit, it can go up, because I've had people just straight up tell me in my face, I don't know what I'm doing because I'm too cheap. Fine, I'll raise my price and sell work. It's great. So as long as there's a fair trade of value, if the homeowner feels like, hey, that's fair, and I feel it's fair, then it's a trade, right? It's fair. I'm not ripping anyone off. But the market started dipping south. I feel like I could not sell work. I went a month and a half, never sold a job. I was given estimates. I was like, what is going on? I started just lowering the price. I'd start selling work. I'm like, you know, I'm still making a profit. I'm not like barely getting by. I'm still making good money. It's just not to the point where, I mean, if I was going to not make a profit, I wouldn't do the job. You know, I don't want to spin my wheels and not earn something. So I have to make at least enough to cover the expenses and then a positive. It's not just the material, labor, trash, and break even. There's overhead, profit, loss, keeping the electric bill paid, the internet paid, various things at the shop, equipment, insurance, all that stuff adds up. So you need to also build a spreadsheet. That's amazing. You know what you're going to make. There's things you don't forget. It's a checklist. Just like when we were flying, there's a saying, checklists are written in blood. And that's very true. It usually has hurt somebody or killed somebody, and then they add it to the checklist. So go through your checklist. Have a spreadsheet. Have all the material prices, maybe different supplier prices, some unknown miscellaneous categories. Price per square. You can make a spreadsheet in Excel however you want. If you don't know how to do it, watch some YouTube videos. That's how I learned. I create my own spreadsheets. All right, traffic's light right here. Let's see if I can read a couple of these comments. If you got any comments, let me know. 400 to 500. So I just got back from Cincinnati, and I was talking to some other contractors the other day for a TAMCO event, and people were talking kind of about their markets and what they're making and things like that. Now we're going to a slow time of the season, but I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. I'll pivot. Even with the economy the way it's going, I can honestly tell you, back in 2008, when everybody was terrified. I bought my first home in 2008 when people thought I was crazy, and I didn't. Now, I was still an employee then, but never really was worried about not having a job. It's always going to be in demand. I'm really not even worried about AI necessarily taking it over right now. One day, robots could probably do it, but setting up machines to do a job, to tear it down, to move it to a new job, it's not going to be economically viable for a while until you have a robot that can just walk to a job site or be driven and unload off a truck and just jump in like a OptiBot and just get busy. So I'm not worried about any of that stuff. Now, if you're in an industry that you could be replaced by simple code and AI, then I would definitely be jumping ship and learning something else now. I feel like the world is going to change more in 5 to 10 years than I have experienced in my last 42 years. And I tell you what, that's been a lot. From an old 8-track player, cassette, DVD, a CD, DVD, all these various different things of media, cloud-based now, speed. It's insane how fast things are going. If anyone's got a topic for a live video where you can pick my brain while I'm sitting at my desk, let me know. I've been wanting to do that for a while, where I'm in my shop and just reading a prompt, not a prompter, but a screen that shows up comments so I can read it or have somebody read them off to me, and just kind of, not a podcast style, but like a live back and forth with you people. 21 minutes in now. You know what? There must have been a YouTube software update, because I can scroll up on all my comments and they're still on the screen, so that's awesome. Now, I do hope that I can watch this back later and they're still there too, because at times when I'm not running it through OBS Studio, these comments will be gone. So I'm curious. It's not storming right now. There was one other call that came in today. I do need to reach out to that person, because I've been on roofs, it's kind of hard. The quicker you respond and communicate, the better. And you're not going to please everybody. I've got a couple of negative reviews, and it's like, look, I didn't miss an appointment, didn't have an appointment, or couldn't find the address, and you never reached back out. So whatever, just communicating to the negative comment so people read the negative comment. Because I mean, I do it all the time. Maybe you guys can relate to this. You're looking up a business for whatever, you read the comments, a couple of the most recent, and then you'll click negative first, so it drops to the most negative, and you read and see what the complaint is and then how they handled it. You can get a lot, you know, even though it's negative, it may not be a bad reflection on the contracting company. Well, I feel like I am all over the place, all over the topics here. Started knocking doors for roofing jobs. You know, I have never knocked a door in my life, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. It just started doing repair work for people I knew, started doing roof jobs, got yard signs out, word started spreading, posting flyers up at gas stations in little towns, social media marketing, whatever I can do, YouTube. It's taken a long time, but it really helped. Again, I'm not saying knocking is bad, but man, I find it way more productive to just have my phone ring and say, hey, can I get an estimate? Sure, get it worked in, as opposed to driving, chasing the storms and knocking doors. So more power to you if you like that kind of thing. If not, pivot or do both. So you say you're knocking doors. Who was that? Jesse GP? Started knocking doors for roof jobs. Are you a salesman, Jesse? If these comments are on the screen later when I watch this back, I'll try to read through all these. And if I can, comment and reply to them. What state are you out of? South California? Southern California. Okay. Well, at least you got pretty good weather. Do you guys get like hail damage out there? You don't get like all the hurricanes or anything, but I guess I don't know kind of what your weather patterns are. Hot and dry, fiery. Actually, one of my, I'm not flying directly into Las Vegas. One of my flights is, due to timing and everything, I'm actually going to fly into San Diego. and then jump on another jet real quick and fly into Vegas. So I'll get to see that area. I haven't seen California since like the late 80s. High winds, fire, and heat. So is your door knocking and sales more like for wind damage then? It's just so cutthroat too. Like so many people. A lot of the locals here in my communities, they're like, we had to call the sheriff because people just keep coming by. One of my siblings lived in Westfield, and they said when a hailstorm hit there, they literally had 9 different people from the same company come by. And they're like, well, we're independent. Like, just leave us alone. So it annoys people. Now, I mean, you are a hero to some people because they can't afford it and insurance buys it. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to say. So if you're relying on storm restoration stuff, I feel like it's changing. 25 years ago, when I was getting into the industry and the business and growing up and becoming into management and all that, there are some other people in my community that have businesses, roofing companies. They're like, we feel like if you stay mom and pop, you're going to get choked out. It's going to all go to insurance work. I feel like it's been in full swing that way, and we've actually passed the apex and we're coming back down the other side now. Insurance companies are going to start fighting back, raising deductibles, dropping coverages. I get people calling me all the time through the summer and fall. It was like 2-3 times a week. They're saying, hey, my insurance company sent me a letter. Technology and AI right now can use satellite image or high resolution, use AI and algorithms to see anomalies in the imagery and just notify or run it through a data broker and sell it off to insurance companies and storm restoration companies. So it's kind of a cat and mouse. So back to being well-rounded and being a contractor, repair guy, knowing a good bit of everything and not just relying on storm restoration would be probably a good advantage. It doesn't mean you can't do insurance work. I've handled insurance work too. I've dealt with people and said, hey, you might want to file a claim, and it goes good. Or people say we can't, they denied it, and then you fight it. So just because I don't say I'm a storm restoration guy doesn't mean I've dealt with insurance or haven't dealt with insurance. I have. But I just try to be very neutral and see all 3 positions. The homeowner, obviously you have insurance to pay for damage. Insurance wants to run it as a business and collect premiums and pay little out, but be legitimate and have an ethical responsibility, right? There's a term for it, I can't think of it. And then also the contractor wants to sell work. So I see all 3 sides. I'm not trying to favor one side. If a roof is old and wore out, I'm going to say it's wore out. If there is legitimate damage, then yes, file a claim. So I'm not extreme one side. It just seems like a lot of the storm restoration companies that have come to the area, or when I've come in behind them, you don't even have a storm, and homeowners are calling me like, hey, I just want to get a second opinion. They're like, yeah, they said they saw damage from a hot tub. It was like 9 p.m. and it was dark out. Or this one was called me up, said, yeah, the guy knocked on my door, said we had extreme hail damage. I'm like looking when I got there, it's like, he saw it? How? Your driveway is a half mile long. You can't even see your house. When you go down, you turn behind. It's just like they're just canvassing. So I don't know, just my way of thinking about it. You do only retail, and insurance doesn't cover a majority of the risks here. Okay, if I'm reading that right. Nobody likes soliciting. Yeah, I hate that too. Unless they're Southern Cali girls. Drew's Roofing. Just trying to see. I haven't been able to read all the comments, guys, so apologies, but I just want to see who's in here. I haven't seen Super Roofer's name in here. I don't know if he's in here. Maybe we'll watch it later. Shout out to a few people. Keith Council, if you're out there. Incognito, some of the people from early days of the channel. I remember your names. Musical School, whoever that is, like 750 a square. Wow. You have your own crew, usually charge $750 a square. So either you're making a ton of a profit, or you have a lot of overhead and you have a system that's running. So that's the other thing. I didn't touch on that at all. If you want to have a true business, a business is a system. I've got a pretty good brand going right now, but I don't have a lot of systems. I'll be honest. There's a lot that I still could do and improve, where I have people doing the estimates, people doing the repair work. I do a lot of the repair work. Unless it's big, then I bring the guys in. The guys do the jobs. I just outsourced the calling because it was so terrible and distracting when I'm on a roof, doing a repair, measuring estimates, walking a steep roof, whatever the case may be, and I got to take a phone call. So I did outsource that, which has been a nice help. You just got to factor those costs in. So if you're like me and you do a lot of that, then you're probably making an absolute killing. But if you're building systems in a business, there's other costs that has to cover. I guess I'm just speaking out loud for those that may not know. This is just things that have learned over the years. Feeling hot, muggy, and nasty. I've been wet all day. I did a cell phone vertical view. I'm gonna try to clip a short video out of it. So a few years back, it was the Roofing Olympics, 1 square challenge, and everybody's trying to be the quickest, but the nail placement was terrible. So I'm gonna try something a little different. If you guys have any interest in this, I might edit it real quick later when I get back to the shop and post it. It's gonna be a short form, short video. I don't know how long, 30 seconds maybe. I don't know, a minute. And it's gonna be kind of a 1 shingle tab repair challenge. But you gotta do it good. So comment real quick if you wanna see that. Just put I wanna see it in the chat real quick. And I'll make that a priority when I get back to the shop. Take the deposits and run, I'm sure. Are you saying that people do that? I mean, I've never done that, never would even consider doing that. But yeah, it actually has happened to some people here in my own hometown in Howard County, where they'd take a deposit, never show up, quit communicating, and eventually just took off. Also, do me one more favor, me or somebody else. TY son. If you're a contractor out there and you're starting, you might rely on deposits. I needed to until I got a company credit card where I could front the money for like 28 days, and then you can get lines of credit with suppliers, things like that. I don't personally like drawing a big line of credit and then paying it off. I like to just know my bills are paid constantly. I'm paying bills every other couple days when I'm busy. But if you're new, what you can do to give your customers some extra trust. Now, I'm not sure, you might need to be in business for at least 2 years, so look into this. Or you have to put a larger deposit down with a third party. They will give you insurance. So you probably know Dmitry Lipinski with Roofing Insights. He also has a new company called Directory. I was a member of that in the early days. Got a job or 2 out of it. I'm still a member of it. I still think it's a good idea. I don't think it's like to fully replace manufacturer extended warranties, things like that. But what he does offer is deposit guarantee. And I think he just raised it recently to like $30,000. So there's different ways a customer finds you from the platform, or if you tell the platform, hey, I've got this customer, I believe there's no charge up to $30,000 deposit guarantee, that it will send that customer an email basically saying, your deposit is now covered up to $30,000. So it gives them a lot of trust to use you and actually give you a deposit. I don't require a deposit now. As long as I've got a good contract and signature on file and they're saying, yes, move forward. Now I know I'm still taking risk. Unless it's a large job, then I'll have a draw where we take a deposit at getting ready to set the job up. So it covers materials, then take a, so if we're doing like a 200, 500 square job, then I'll take draws. Anything like 100 square or less, I'm not usually worried about it. So what's the favor I can do? Actually, you know what? I am going to go a different way. I'm going to stop at a little store down here and get a drink. Message retracted. 722, whoever. TY. Looks like you deleted a message, but I'm not sure. You're asking if I could do you a favor. Me. Let me know. If you set it up above, commented below, sorry. What are my thoughts on vandalism claims with insurance? I can't stand it. It's part of the reason why insurance is getting very tough and doesn't want to cover it. When insurance was very profitable, everybody's gonna have their own different views and opinions. Where they're bringing in claims, they're paying claims. They're bringing in premiums and paying claims. But when you get people, Becca Swisher, diamonds in the sky, telling people just go knock doors and sell insurance work. When you get pea-sized hail hit in the roof and you claim it's damaged, whatever the case may be, it just really drains the insurance. Lost my train of thought. one does a 350. What are your thoughts on those? Can't tell if that says illegals or insights. Hang on just a minute. Let me get pulled over here. Actually, let me just pull over right here. I'll read that real quick. What are your thoughts on those illegals? Well, I don't deal with illegals. Everything I do is 100% legal and legit. I'm not going to do things like, I saw a video the other day where like, I don't know if it was Border Patrol or some agency showed up and they're pouring concrete and they literally came from all angles and started cuffing people. I was like, oh my God, I feel bad for that contractor because the amount of damage they just caused walking through the concrete, now that's all got to be jackhammered out and redone. Oof. There's also something else I'd heard about. I don't know exactly in the salesman position. If you're a salesman, be aware how you're paid because a lot of it was contracted, not W-2. And at this conference I was at the other day, they're like, hey, be careful. They can nail you hard on that. There's different ways and tests of that. So just FYI, if you're a salesman and you're being paid $10.99, be aware. Whether it get you in trouble or the contractor, or if you're a contractor, a business owner, and you're 1099ing salesman, you might want to look into the legalities of that and how the IRS treats that. Vandalism claim or hail claims. So there was a job I looked at back in 2018, maybe 2019, somewhere around there. Got a call about hail damage because storm chasers were knocking on doors. I said, okay, I'll be there at 7 a.m. I show up. They gave me permission to look at it. I look it over. Nothing. I got pictures, documented everything. Soft metal box vents look good.